Imagine living in a time when your faith could lead you straight into a fiery trap. This was the reality for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, three young men who faced the ultimate test of faith. Their dramatic story, filled with unwavering faith and miraculous deliverance, offers profound lessons on the nature of God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were Jewish exiles in Babylon, serving under King Nebuchadnezzar. The king constructed a massive golden statue and decreed that everyone must bow down and worship it whenever they heard the sound of music. Disobedience meant being thrown into a blazing furnace. Despite this terrifying decree, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood firm in their faith. They refused to bow down to the statue, choosing instead to remain faithful to the God of Israel. Their defiance did not go unnoticed. Furious, King Nebuchadnezzar summoned the three men and offered them one last chance to comply. Daniel 3:16-18 recounts their bold response. King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. Enraged by their refusal, the king ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were bound and thrown into the fiery furnace. The heat was so intense that the soldiers who threw them in were overcome by the flames. It seemed like the end for these faithful men. But then something miraculous happened. King Nebuchadnezzar, astonished, leaped to his feet and said, "Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire?" His advisers replied, "Certainly, your majesty." He said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods." Daniel 3:24-25. The presence of the 4th figure, believed by many to be a pre-incarnate appearance of Christ, protected Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from harm. When they emerged from the furnace, not a hair on their heads was singed, their robes were untouched, and there was no smell of fire on them. King Nebuchadnezzar was compelled to acknowledge the power of their God, declaring, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants." They trusted in him and defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. Daniel 3:28. This dramatic story illustrates the unwavering faith of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and the miraculous power of God to save his people. It reminds us that God's presence is with us in the midst of our trials, and he is able to deliver us in ways beyond our understanding. God's nature is revealed through this story as one of faithfulness and protection. He honors those who stand firm in their faith, even in the face of grave danger. This story encourages us to trust in God's power and goodness, knowing that he is always with us, even in the fiery furnaces of our lives. If this message has touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and follow for more inspiring teachings. Let's spread Christ's love and light together. Your support helps reach more people with his message. Be a part of this journey.